Richard, Workspace Solutions. Take us through what Workspace Solutions does and who do you do it for? Who are your customer base?
Okay, so Workspace Solutions has a wide and a varied portfolio on sort of two main camps within TEXO itself. First side would be the offshore accommodation refurbishment, where we carry out an array of works, basically like going to deal with a travel lodge at sea. Anything from flooring, architectural, piping, the whole mix goes into there. And we have a widespread client base from platform operators to drilling contractors around the North Sea and beyond. Quite a lot of work in Las Palmas and over in Venezuela being undertaken just now. Second to that would be our modular work, which again remains wide and varied, and where we like to call it the mass production of one-offs. So that means pretty much anything you want in a box. The mix of client base there stems from schools all the way through to airports, all the way through to gymnasium pods, and pretty much the growth in that sort of volumetric building side we are in catering for, again, what we say, the sort of the specials. It's not so much the volume, it's more individually tasked. We don't have a single product line. We build to what the customer requires.
So it's very much bespoke construction, innovation in the field of modular buildings?
It very much is. I believe that our place in the market is picking up on those specials, that unique build, as opposed to the big guys who have obviously developed their product to support a much wider market. There is a place for that. We are not there. We don't want to get there. We just very much turn our specialist set of skills into exactly what the client wants. So basically, instead of a client going with a requirement and the larger modular providers saying we can build that out of X, Y, and Z, we basically say we'll build it to whatever you want.
Give us two examples. One that sort of comes to mind was a detention centre for the COP.
Yeah.
So talk us through about how your division started the whole sort of process and what it meant.
COP26 came from a single phone call from our client, who was pretty much at the end of the day had an issue on delivery. COP26 had a date. They had gone to their normal supply chain, the bigger modular manufacturers, and when they actually won the job and they had to instruct it, these guys couldn't provide it. There was an array of phone calls made, and just luckily with another client we had supported, put them in our direction, and the COP26 details with a very, very tight deadline were presented to us right up our street. So a couple of days reviewing drawings, coming up with how we would build it, how we would do it in the timescales, and it fell very much into that box of specialist fit out. So the boxes are the boxes. They need to be of a certain size and specification, but inside had a large extent fit out to comply with basically prison cells and everything to align to keep the police happy. So we won the contract. We started the contract and forged a phenomenal relationship with that client. We didn't really realise until after just how important the delivery of that project was, not just for the specific task in hand for COP26 and everything around about it. It covered 5 police stations in the Central Belt, but what it actually meant to our client, had that not been delivered, would have been, to be fair to say in their words, reasonably catastrophic. So we delivered on time a quality product, which obviously pleased them, the police, and the whole design team that worked there, and basically put us on a pedestal to springboard from there into all the future work.
So would you say that it's at the core of Workspace Solutions, it's about being responsive, rapid. It's the customer service that's key.
So very much when we started, we set our principles on client satisfaction, client response. Obviously, when you start a new business straight out the packet, you have to be that to win the customers. But it's been one of our sort of founding principles on response. If you ask the team that started with us from day one, it still exists and has grown, obviously, they'll tell you that my biggest calling to them is to respond back. And if they can't respond back, tell me and we'll cover it one way or another. So we take on board the fact that a client's called us, they have a need, and it's what we need to do is make them comfortable in the fact that they've called the right company to deliver for them.
So how long have you been in the field? And what is it? The interesting thing about it is what is that field? I know the Workspace Solutions, and you mentioned it at the beginning, but how do you define the field that you work in now, and how long have you worked in it?
Well, the field itself...
It's not the jack of all trades, all right?
It's okay, so the field itself is a mix, and the team has been pulled together on a mix. If we take the offshore element of it, nobody actually started and served their time offshore. Basically, all that we do, as I said before, it's like turning up to a travel lodge. It's just got a different set of geographical issues with it. It's a container, not a transit van. That hones a particular set of skills, which in itself is there's no B&Q around the corner. So you have to get it right to go offshore, and we have to deliver. Again, we were taking the sort of old school approach to offshore of being you don't really have to work and we can burn time, we can do this. Completely different change when we started TEXO here. To turn up, we know that we are called out there to solve an issue, but we cause a further issue by absolutely turning up there. We take people out of beds, we need beds. So one of the lines there is we want to be on your asset for as short a time as possible, but just more often. So that seems to have worked very, very well for us. When we take that sort of accuracy and set of skills and turn it to the construction side of things, and particularly in the module, use the same skill base, assume that everything has to be right, no matter where in the country you're going to do this modular construction. Develop the project itself to do as much as you can in a controlled environment, so you've got a minimal amount of time in site. So again, if you look and consider some of the areas that we work in, airports for one, it's almost as difficult working in an airport environment that is going offshore. So you have to get it right. Minimum amount of labour, minimum time on site. So that's all been developed by the team, who again are a mixed bag from architectural, electrical, plumbing, piping. All the trades are covered, working as a collective team to deliver the project. And again, whether it be offshore or land-based, but that's sort of mentality to get it right first time on site.
But it's important, one of the things you mentioned there about being able to develop a complete solution off-site to then limit the amount of time that you take on-site to construct. And you mentioned one of those sectors is the airport sector. What sort of niche have you developed within airports? And is it basically the fact that you can develop unique innovations externally and literally just turn up with a lorry and construct them on site?
So absolutely right. Again, a huge mix even within the airports of the requirements, whether it be security or server, office space, welfare. There are particular specifications you've got to abide by, and we, after building the first couple of projects and we got to know the airport's requirements further, we soon realised that the larger companies that they were going to basically didn't have the product, and they were fed up being served with standard product and make it fit. You know, when a customer has a particular set of requirements, you've got to meet them and not just offer them what you have. So that was easy for us to adapt and design and give them what they want, no matter sort of size or scale. Our only restriction being what we can put on a truck. And then develop that. So on one of our sort of initial projects in Gatwick, I think it was summed up as being the sort of a true reflection of what modular buildings should be, and we delivered a project right under the control tower, which basically set a new standard for modular within the airports.
What is it about TEXO Workspace solutions that you find compelling?
Well, because I mean, basically, when I was asked to kick off the TEXO Workspace Solutions business unit under the TEXO banner, the opportunity was there for myself and a team of people I had worked with in the past, knowing all the issues and restraints that we'd been served upon under various different companies, to basically have a clean sheet and do what we thought was right for the industry, be it offshore, be it land-based. And that fresh start has basically brought us a customer base who just keep on coming back and pushing us for more because they're getting that service that they should be getting.
So in a competitive, I don't think there's any sector that isn't competitive that you can turn around and say, well, you have to fight for anything. How does TEXO deliver on its promises? So price is price, and product costs what it costs. We certainly set our stall not to be a one-job wonder, and it's about client satisfaction. That's the best thing out. Now, that's about turning up and delivering a job and delivering it on time and delivering it to the quality and making sure you establish a relationship with them that basically they know where to pick the phone up to and their problems just get resolved. So it's about people.
Oh, 100% about people. Without people, without the communication, the interaction, there would be no business.
So how do you, as at the head of your division, how do you encourage the team, and how do you develop the team? How do you bring new people on? Do you find that as a challenge? Do you relish that?
Relish it, certainly. There is no challenge. If you're passionate about your business, and then that passion basically rolls down. You get the right people with the right intent, and you expect them to do nothing more than you do yourself. That's how we deliver as a team.
So staff are the be-all and end-all in one respect, in terms of, yes, you can get the work in, but without the right staff and the right mentality, you just can't deliver.
There's absolutely no doubt about it. And we, the company as a whole, and certainly as a team, it's a complete team effort. That time, the communication has got to be daily. It's not about meetings, etc., etc. It's just about the interaction throughout a day where everyone can freely go about their job. They know the support's there, even across the team. I've got a completely mixed bag of individuals there, but when you see them operate as a team, it's certainly something that I'm proud of.
So that sort of brings us very neatly into sort of like the company motto, together we're one. How do you translate that into sort of day-to-day activity?
Basically, you've got to create that. You have to be about. It's not about micromanagement or anything like that. It's awareness. It's a little bit of pushing. It's a little bit of comforting. It's about sharing knowledge. It's about utilising a team, and that doesn't just go for a workspace solution. That goes across the board. There's much more than just us at the coalface. There's the other business units. There's a group support function. everything through from accounts to BD, HR, the whole lot. It's got to operate as one to deliver. We don't stand alone. We're not an island in our delivery.
Growth plans. Where do you see your division in 18 months within the wider sort of aspects of the growth of TEXO as a company?
So we've had significant growth through opportunity. If you look at the sort of the wide coverage we have in our offshore and our land based and what we do, it hones itself down to a reasonably short list of client base in both camps, and that's about service and repeat. So we want to continue that satisfaction, we want to continue that repeat and order sort of basis, and we want to just stabilise. As a new company, and with the various issues that everyone's had over the last couple of years, longevity in any project has been the one. So that's our key factor now. We've reached a level of turnover that we're happy to deliver. Obviously that will grow, but it's still got to be maintained that, as we call it, it's sort of big enough to handle it and small enough to care, and that's where we want to continue to wrap that up. And we certainly have the support of that from Chris and Hayden, and it's where our comfort factor is, and that's what we currently believe in, and that's where we'll get to.
Okay. I'd like to talk about a very specific sector that you specialise in, and that's really sort of the educational sector, building modular fabricated buildings for schools, universities, colleges. And I know that there's a great case study that's just been completed, and I had the privilege of actually going to see it, and I was blown away because when I was at school, a prefabricated building was a bit of wood. It started to rot within a week or two, and it wasn't particularly pretty. But this thing was just amazing. Take us through the project, the key elements to the project, the name of the project, where it is, who's it for, and what does it mean in terms of for the user, really, at the end of the day.
So for the user in particular, with the schools or any project, but in particular the schools, we've done a number of projects now, and we were fortunate enough at a point last year to win a local one. So it's always means a bit more special when it's on your doorstep. You can showcase. I mean, we work far afield, but on your doorstep, on a school that certainly I grew up in as a youngster.
And they had you back.
And they had me back. was very, very key. And the expectations always on modular from people out with the industry, or certainly some people within the industry, is they just don't know. And there's that old expectation of the wooden hut and the wooden lined panels and cold, the whole thing there. So we want to go beyond expectations. This project was late in coming, and they had an issue, and again we were able to resolve it. We have the facility now to do that, we have the connections to do that, and we have the desire to do that. So that always means more. It was a new client for us, so again we wanted to excel in that because we want to basically live to fight another day. And the project went through a particular set of challenges, but we always were at the spearhead of that. When the school finally started to come together, you forged a relationship with the likes of the headmaster and the teaching staff as well, and you begin to learn the issues that they go through and what this means to them and what it means to the kids, and that's quite compelling. So you want to deliver, everything that you can to make sure that they're comfortable. The kids are the future. We're working with the school now to look at what we can do for the kids now that they know more about us and what we can offer the kids, what we can get involved in. And it's basically, we've delivered a project there for 240 children to have a better environment to get their schooling in, and then from there that continues that relationship with over 1,000 kids that we can reach out to, support and work with going forward.
So this particular project that you worked on, how many classrooms does that equate to? What was the scale of the project?
Scale of the project was a 2-story school with 8 individual classrooms. There was staff rooms and toilet blocks, integrated staircases, etc. The main thing behind this, although it was going to be modular, was basically to go into the school, basically look at what the finish was on everything from the floor covering to the doors to the toilets so we could build that in a unique manner, even though it was modular, so they felt like they were still in the school and there was no differentiation that someone was getting pushed out to the cabins in the corner.
When I visited it, one of the things that sort of blew me away was the level of finish that was actually applied. So the actual, it was on its own foundations. It wasn't temporary. These things, to me, didn't look temporary. They looked far more, going to last 10, 15, 20 years plus, probably longer than a brick building. So, and each room was air conditioned. It was a level of comfort that I didn't expect to be applied. So
it's a difficult one when you talk about having a modular business and everyone first off thinks of the box. So again, with our mass production of one-offs, and because we don't have a product, we build what the customer needs. So we can build it in any way, shape or form that we want. We have temporary offices and temporary site facilities that are basically built to that. And then we know that there's going to be permanent structures. Following on from this school now, our next build is a much larger school again. It's going to be out with Aberdeen, it's down in Edinburgh, but that is being built as a permanent building delivered in a modular solution, and we've also now managed to design it net zero, which has a great impact and then puts us another step forward into the future. So we don't just sit back and say we're going to give you a modular building and we exceed expectations just because it's just the right thing to do.
So when you're looking at that school project and you work with your design team here to develop it, it's looking at pushing boundaries, looking at unique ways to solve the issues that the planners have, the school heads have. And that's all done in-house?
Everything's done in-house. So very much when a customer calls us, we believe in the statement that a picture tells 1,000 words. So we take the mixed bag of the team with a great deal of experience across many, many sectors, and we've been exposed to a lot of different projects. The team that's been together since TEXO started was a team we worked with in various companies over various years. So hence why we selected them, hence why we're together delivering what we deliver. So it's all about the pictures, it's all about the layouts, it's all about the graphics, it's all about having their own stamp on it. The minute a client sees what we deliver from the offset, it feels like it's theirs and there's an immediate passion about it and their own stamp on it. We believe that works. Our increase in turnover and client base is sort of proving it works, and that's what they like. So that's the way we'll continue to do things, and it's about forging close relationships, understanding how they need it to work and what delivers the best solution for them. So it's not just about providing for the schools alone, it's not just providing space for 240 additional kids, it's understanding how the teachers work and even down to how the janitors work and where they want to store and do they need a store upstairs and downstairs and everything like that, and just getting into the operation. And that's not just schools, that's any sort of part of the business. We go visit, we go talk, we do tell the client we're not afraid to offer solutions or with our experiences give them back ideas, and ultimately that doesn't necessarily need to cost any more than a project's going to cost anyway. So it's a good high level of service that no matter the size and scale we get to is very personable.
I've always, when we've spoken in the past, I've always tried to get across as I feel that TEXO are sort of thought leaders in the industry. So as a thought leader, are there any current issues that you feel clients have that we need to change?
Perception on cost is always one with a client, and it's about matching cost with service. You can have a lot of experience where a client may not have. So what they're asking for, you know that's potentially not right. Do you cost it to make it right, or do you cost it to win the job? And then, so it's that whole discussion, negotiation, making them comfortable and making them believe that you're there to support them, and you're there for, you're there for the long run with them. And you can only do that by direct interaction. You've got to go out, you've got to know your client, you've got to make it personable again, and you've just got to develop a strong relationship. What we build and what we do, we should be able to do that. That's nothing special. That's what we do. It's what we say we do. But it's how we get to that point and how we get that comfort factor and that belief in our client base that, we're here to support and just basically deliver them the right thing.
What's the most important part of a project to you?
Client satisfaction. End of story. It beats everything over money, making money. We understand it's important to the business. We want to make sure our guys are happy doing it and delivering it, and there's a pride in that. But client satisfaction, the client goes and he's happy with what he's been delivered. He shares that. They're your best BD following that. Whether they place another order or tell someone else about what you've done, nothing else beats that.
So you've probably sort of skirted around the edge of that. So what are the clients' motivators in this field?
Each and every one of our clients, be it a business owner, be it someone who works within a company, works within a council, works within an airport, works in any sector, they've been tasked with a job to deliver. So ultimately, you want to make them look good. You make them look good, then they share that. The ultimate client, the kids that move into a school, the person that sits behind a desk in a module we built, the people that turn up to an office, even the comfort for the working man turning up to a welfare unit. You just want to make them feel comfortable in what they're doing. Offshore again, we changed the perception of there. Everything was beige, cost you nothing to introduce colour. And just pushing that back out to them and making them understand you can have something better for no more money. So we just continue to push that, service that, and then hence why you get repeat customers, hence why you get showcase, and then you've created a history of delivery.
So one of my last questions is growth plans. In the education sector itself, how's TEXO going to service this and grow? Is it the intention to, because, tell us about the new facility that you've got. I'm not even going to say where it is because I always seem to get the pronunciation wrong. So.
Inverurie, it's a Scottish word. So we obviously, through under the TEXO banner, we have two large fabrication halls, and we have our sort of workshop facility at the head office in West Hill. And depending on where a project was and where we pushed the fabrication of the main frame, our team would just basically turn up and do the fit out, then follow on and deliver. The growth following COP26 and the inquiry flow became so large that we needed a proper facility to handle this in. So last year we took over a large facility to basically handle everything from the unloading of raw materials, the production of the modules, and the reloading, all under cover, which is really important to us. Excuse me. So that itself is, to coin the phrase, if you build it, they will come, sets a whole set of new eyes upon you. You're dealing with the architects, design teams, the client themselves, other contractors. So all of a sudden they start to come through the door. They're pretty much wowed at what you do, didn't realise what you could do, and it brings on a whole new level of inquiries. So the facility itself was taken with a view to expansion, which we have and continue to do so. This summer again, we'll call for an increase in that facility. And excuse me, and it's all about the service. It's about building the complete building, having the client come through the process and project with us, and about getting it, basically getting it right before it goes to site. So that in itself, the size and scale of it, needs to be filled. So we just have to expand that market, expand that awareness, and push on with this business.
So how many square feet is the new facility, and what can you actually what is it? How many?
Just now we can jump around from sort of 80,000 square feet and push on up to 150,000 square feet. So inevitably we started at 20. Very quickly we had to go to 40, and then we've just secured a further space to extend that with the size and scale of the mix of projects. What we don't want to do is focus on one or two projects at a time. We have customers calling for single one-off units. I mean, we're about to build a couple of prayer rooms. Who knew? So that everyone still has to be serviced. Everyone still has to be serviced in the same way, in the same manner, no matter size or scale.
Thank you very much, Richard.
Not a problem, Russell.